to the social class. We are seeing about the history chapter, Socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution. So Russian Revolution, we saw how the king has been and how the people have been really struggling, workers have been affected, and we also saw how they started striking against them. Yes, now we will see about the socialism. As I told you previously, the nobles are being given the lands, have been taken lands from the nobles, and the Russians have the practice of periodically cultivating the lands by individual farmers. So periodically cultivating means the land, for example, a piece of land, 4 pieces of land is there, and a person is there who is an A, he will start cultivating the first time the first land, B, C, like that. So when it is go on, they will exchange the lands of their own. So periodically they will cultivate the land one by one. So when this periodically, when it is happening, you can find that this periodical cultivation has not brought much of yield towards them. So when this yield was not met to them in a proper manner, they wanted to change it. They have to modify it. So they are getting into a new thing that is called as socialism in Russia, where all the political parties in Russia has been declared as illegal. So no other party other than king should exist in Russia till 1914. So whichever party is there, if it is exploring itself as a party and it is in the common places, it is declared as an illegal party and the members are being arrested. That is how the situation of Russia was there at that time. So that time, even before that, in 1898 itself, you can find we had a party in Russia that is called the Social Democratic Worker Party. This party was there, but it was not shown to the public. To the common, it was not known by the socialists. And this has a follower, or this has the practice of the Karl Marx. Marx, whose followings, his ideas, his beliefs have been followed by them. So as the government was declaring all the party illegal, this party has to function in a secret manner. Okay, so this was functioning in a very secret manner. But because of the government policy, it had to operate illegally, the organization. Illegally means it was functioning without the knowledge of the king, it was functioning. And it is set up and newspaper of its own. It started mobilizing workers and started organizing its own strikes without the knowing that it is a party which is existing. Some places in Russia you can find that they felt Russia's peasants customs like dividing the land, that is as I told you already, dividing the land in a periodical manner and making it to active, that is to do cultivation work is being considered as a not a good thing. So they felt that the peasants are not functioning, not working. All the peasants are not working at the same time. If the peasants are working at the same time, the yield of Russia may increase. So that is what is the belief. So the mainly they focused on certain aspect like revolution which they want, and Russia could become a socialist more quickly than other countries. So socialist was being activated in the countryside by them, and though in 19th century this was existing, and they formed one more party which is known as the Socialist Revolution Party in 1900. So this party struggled for the peasants. Okay, so this party is actually struggling for the peasants, and they don't want the peasants to have the same old practice of the periodical farming. They wanted them to have a continuous farming of their own. And the Lenin felt that the peasants were not one unit group. So he says, yes, they are not one unit group. In the peasants itself, you can find there are rich peasants are there and poor peasants are also existing. Poor peasants are really struggling for their livelihood. But if you see about the rich peasants, they are capitalists. They can even employ few peoples. So he wanted to classify them. He wanted to segregate those peoples as poor rich peasants and the normal rich peasants. So like that he wanted to segregate as poor and the rich. So when he wanted to segregate, he got an idea, and the party was divided and segregated the organization. Like Lenin has brought who led the party as the Bolsheviks group, that is those who are repressive socially like Tsar Nicholas, that is the rich peoples are included in Bolsheviks and they had a discipline and that should be followed and controlled under his own membership. Okay. Then they have others as the Mensheviks, those who had the party and that party is open for all. So the party is open for all, but in the party itself they had a segregation which is known as Bolsheviks and the Mensheviks. So this is what is about the socialism, my dear students. So I hope you would have understood this socialism clearly. Please go through the content. You have to read it. Okay. So the homework is go through the content and make 5 points out of it. Socialism in Russia, how the socialism is there. Okay. Thank you, my dear students.